wish I could tune out that moral voice inside me that says eating animals is murder. But I guess I'm just not as strong as you are.
That's because you need protein.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but screw it. I'm here to talk about How I Met Your Mother, and its mildly controversial ending. That might be the biggest understatement ever. If any of you have been living under a rock for the past decade or two and don't know what the show is, How I Met Your Mother is a sitcom starring a group of friends and a main guy telling to his kids in the future the story of how he met their mother. Keep an eye out for that one. We're gonna come back to it later. It aired for 9 seasons and was one of the most popular shows in the world during its time. The sequel to Friends, as many argue. The last good use of the laugh track system that was airing along the not so good use of the laugh track. I'm looking at you, Big Bang Theory. And when it ended, a lot of people were very upset, and I'm gonna talk about why that is and what I think about it all. Begin. Needless to say, this is gonna be fully spoilery of the whole show, so if you don't want these spoilies, leave now. Okay, so let's recap the ending for the ones who have forgotten. The final season of How I Met Your Mother is the wedding season. It is set throughout the weekend of the wedding of Robin and Barney, all the way up until episode 22, when they tie a knot, right before the finale. During the finale, we get glimpses of the future, and one of them shows us Barney and Robin having gotten divorced 3 years later. As for Ted, he spends the whole season getting nearer and nearer to meeting the mother when he finally gets to in the finale. Dates her, marries her, and in the end it is revealed that all along she was dead, and that Ted was telling his children the story of how he met their deceased mother. Also, that in a way, the whole storytelling was a ploy to get his kids convinced to let him date, now single, Aunt Robin. His kids tell him it's fine, and boom bam pop, he gets with Robin. The end. People hated this ending for multiple reasons. Some were upset that we spent 9 seasons waiting for the mother only for her to die in the end. Some were mad that Robin and Barney spent a whole season getting married, only for them to get divorced 15 minutes into the next episode. Some were mad that Ted spent the whole season getting over Robin, only for him to get back to her. And a lot of people were raging over all of these things, and more, together. Now, I agree with some of the criticisms the ending gets. I by no means think it's perfect. Nor am I trying to tell you that you have to like it. But, in general, I definitely like the ending more than I don't. And I have a couple of reasons to explain why that is. For starters, I think this ending works. In fact, it's the ending I wanted and was glad that it came because let's look at how this story is told. Whose POV are we looking at here? Of course, it's Ted. Yes, it's Ted. Ted is telling the story of how he met the kids' mother. But where does his story begin? That is a very important question to ask because it lines up with the ending perfectly, since the story began with Ted meeting and falling in love with Robin. Robin specifically, 8 years before he met the mother. And he spends the whole story talking about Robin in the most perfect light. It's his love story and he wanted to start it there. The question I kept asking myself, even closing in on the ending, was why the hell did Ted start the story with meeting Robin when he didn't meet the mother for 8 more years? Now, a lot of people have the answer of, well, he wanted to show his kids the men he had to become to meet their mom. But then, why did he have to start the story specifically there? Did he have no growth before that point? Why didn't he start the story where he met Barney, or Lily, or Marshall, or even at his birth? He chose to specifically tell them about the time he met Aunt Robin. It is the ending I predicted for them to end up together, and it was made clear for me in Season 8, Episode 20, The Time Travelers, when Ted, feeling like had he known the future, he would have wanted to go see the mother, he goes there and talks to her, and the look in his eyes, saying he wants those extra days with her, his face red, that look of agony, it told me all I needed to know. He wanted to spend more time with her, because he doesn't have any with her anymore. So, in my opinion, with stuff like these, the ending was actually built towards and teased well. By the way, that episode is fucking
legend? Wait for it. Dairy!
It's one of the most heartbreaking episodes I've ever seen in a sitcom, and it's just beautiful. Anyway, back to topic. One of the reasons why people hate that Robin and Ted ended up together is because they feel like the whole show has been trying to show us that Ted and Robin don't work together, and that they can never last. But I would argue that yes, they might not have worked together back then, when they were heading towards completely different directions in life, with Ted wanting a family and Robin focusing on her career. Now, 25 years later, they're at a point in their life where they both achieved what they set out to, and they can actually, finally, be together. So in my opinion, the actual big ending thing of it all completely works. Some people will say the ending was ballsy, but it was the originally written ending for the show. It's the one that makes the most sense, especially with how the early seasons line up. But was it delivered perfectly? Not so much. My biggest issue with the ending is, yes, the final season. A lot of people hate it because the mother died, but my problem was definitely Barney and Robin's wedding, and how they spent a whole season on them, only for it to end immediately afterwards.
Not a great plan.
And Barney going back to his old ways and not being redeemed again until he has a kid. While I do think that was a cute thing, I don't get why Barney had to go back to being the same asshole after getting so much growth. I don't think that part of it worked. I am of the opinion, however, unlike most people, that we just got the perfect amount of the mother, Tracy. The show was never really about her, let's be honest. It was less How I Met Your Mother and more I'm telling How I Met Your Mother, but secretly I want your approval, kids. So the amount we got from her, cameos here and there in the last season, and only one episode focusing on her, worked. Maybe we would have needed a little more screen time with her and Ted, but I get the choice not to, since they weren't gonna last. As for Marshall and Lily, I don't really have a big opinion on their ending. I think they worked out just fine. If I'm to sum up what I feel about the ending, I'm the guy who likes the general direction, the idea for the ending, but I don't think it was handled as well as it could have been. So anyway, these are my thoughts. I wanted to talk about How I Met Your Mother because it's a very near and dear show to my heart. It's just about my favorite sitcom. I feel like it balances the humor and the heartfelt moments really well, while giving you some great life lessons along the way. The anti-Darman kind of. I love this show a lot, and I like its ending, and I wanted to talk about that. You're free not to like it. Again, I'm not telling anyone they have to, but I am telling you that you should subscribe to this channel, and watch whatever great video I put up here for you to watch next.
Oh my, that appears to be pornography.